Gynotopia? Is that really that much better? Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of TV Time with Maggie. I'm Maggie, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. Thank you guys for joining me on this very special episode where I'm going to be reviewing The Wilds. TV Time with Maggie is all about feminism, women in the media, representation, and Latinx content. If you like any of those, please like, subscribe, share, and follow me on PinkLeo_productions on Instagram for more content. On one of my latest episodes, I did a review on some of my shows that I'm loving on Amazon Prime. And one of the shows that I mentioned is The Wilds. I finished watching The Wilds, and this show is amazing. As you guys may know, I love everything that has to do with shows like Lost, books like Lord of the Flies, dystopian societies, being stuck on an island, very contained stories. So this is right up my alley. So let's discuss this dynamic story. Spoilers ahead. The Wilds is a story about this group of young women who come from different walks of life. They are stranded on an island and they're trying to figure out not only how to survive, but why are they there and how are they gonna get out? It's really no surprise that all of the girls on this show are very well developed and dynamic, and this is due to the great storytellers behind the scenes. First, we have creator Sarah Stretcher. She is well known for Daredevil, the series on Netflix. We also have Amy B. Harris. That name may sound familiar to any of you who are really into Sex and the City and the Carrie Diaries. And last but not least, we have Jamie Tarses. She is well known because she's one of the few women to hold the position of president of ABC Entertainment. She's also well known because she's behind the scenes in things like Friends, Mad About You, and Happy Endings. For all these great powerhouse storytellers, there's no wonder that this show is really well made, really well done, and really well written. Now, let's get into the women of the show. We find out during the course of the show is the fact that all of the young women chosen to be in this island and stuck on this island all have a particular trauma that has to do with the men in their life. One of the young women, for example, is heartbroken by an older man who kind of likes teenagers. Another one is molested as a child by someone whom she thought was like a physical therapist. Another one is raised in a very strict religious household where her dad really is who's in charge all the time. And another young woman, her name is Dot. She actually has a sick dad whom she has to euthanize right before going into the island. We find out about these traumas and their intricate storylines and how they are all really well interwoven together through this really great framing device. So the story has 3 different timelines, and I absolutely love the fact that it's being told in this way. And it reminds me of something like Big Little Lies. So if you're into that show, you might like the storytelling here as well. There's a larger framing device when the girls already have come back from the island. We don't really know what's going on, but they're being interviewed and they're retelling the story. We also get flashback about what are the events that occur on the island that transpire into other big accidents that we are not aware of yet in the story. And we also go further back to see their story before they arrived at the island. Through the storytelling mechanism, we realize that not only do they have these pattern of really bad behaving men in their life, but that they're really being manipulated and controlled by a larger entity. This is where Gretchen comes in. This scientist and psychologist is the head of a program called the Dawn of Eve. This program, disguised as an empowerment retreat for young women, is actually a social experiment. See, Gretchen believes in Gynotopia. Now, what is Gynotopia? From my research, I learned that Gynotopia is actually a term that is not really well used, but we know what it is. So similarly to the Amazonians and the women from the Masquerade, for example, in Wonder Woman, this is a society that is built and run by women, and there's only women around. Though maybe the vocabulary word is not well known, the concept is actually not new. Many stories have been written about this kind of utopian society where only women rule. And this is due to the fact that we live in a very patriarchal society. And so there is this version of utopia that some of us have created that escapes patriarchy. And it's goes a step beyond matriarchal societies into a Gynotopia. Gretchen is fascinated by this idea, and she believes that women can not only build a society but thrive in it if there were no men to hinder them. Though Gretchen has always been fascinated by this topic and studies it, she's pushed to this limit due to the fact that recently her son committed a crime. Her son is part of a fraternity, and their toxic male masculinity actually gets one of the boys killed. She blames not her son, but the society around him, this toxic male masculinity that leads for things like crime and violence to prevail. So she believes with no men, there will be no crime, there wouldn't be any sort of ranking in society. However, as you guys may know, if you are in building a society, hierarchical roles and other things may come up. It's not just about gender, it's not about biological sex. This is why I believe that her experiment ultimately fails, even though in the show is still going on. Though the Dawn of Eve is new, I believe that it fails because these young women already come in with trauma from their society. And so they don't spend enough time there to kind of cleanse themselves of the actual misogynist and slut-shaming ideologies that they have prior to going into the island. They come in already hostile against each other. They don't know each other. They don't really want to be there. They don't understand why they're there. And even though they believe that they are supposed to be there for some sort of retreat, they automatically, due to this survival situation, obviously, people that are like Dot, who are very well in surviving the wilderness, for example, go up in the hierarchy. And then there's like someone like Shelby who's trying to be friendly with everyone, but holds on to homophobia from her past. And then there's someone like Fatten who believes, well, you know what, we're gonna be rescued anyways, and we don't own anything to anybody, let's just relax. So even though there are no men in the island, the women already come in as really complex, dynamic humans that have to deal with all of these things along the way of them surviving the island. Though there are hints of inner misogynistic beliefs and a lot of religious beliefs and a lot of like slut shaming going on, the girls do quickly become a family and have bonds with each other. And I really love seeing how the show goes from light to very dramatic moments. We really get to see women just being, not just women, just being human. They play games, they are competitive with each other, they tell each other secrets, they fight with each other, they challenge each other. And it's really great to see them not being bothered by what they look like, which quickly becomes a thing after Fatten realizes, you know what, there's no Sephora anywhere near around. And kind of do away with certain very kind of aesthetic and social media kind of feelings that go on in our society, especially with young women, and they don't believe in that anymore. They are in survival mode. We don't know the outcome of everything that went on in the island. We know some terrible things happened there, and we're finding out as we go. Season 1 is really well told, really well written. We even have some agents that are not really there for the purposes that we thought they were. There's twists and turns all around. People that we thought were very nice and sweet and cute and ready to help everybody are really not. We also have other men in the Dawn of Eve program, and I like to see how they interact with the young women and also what they believe the purpose of the Dawn of Eve will be. One of the things that I'm very much looking forward to season 2 is I believe the program is called the Dawn of Adam, and it's supposed to be kind of like their version but for the guys. And we get a glimpse of it, but we don't know really when within the time period this is taking place, or did it take place, or will it take place. We don't know. We know that there's a program for the guys, but we don't know if that's like the control group, or are they being held captive the same way? Are they agents like other people that we thought were not? One of the saddest aspects, I believe, of this show, and why I think the idea and the concept of Gynotopia actually kind of fails, And I believe that even though Gretchen is a scientist and she really wants this to work out and she's going about it the wrong way, is because everything that Gretchen has created for these young women are the things that they're trying to get rid of. There's this fantastic scene with this young woman named Jeanette. Jeanette is a student, and she really likes Gretchen, and they become kind of like a mentor-mentee relationship. And she is one of the women that is chosen to be part of the experiment, but she actually knows about the experiments, and she's there to kind of keep an eye on things and make sure the experiment goes smoothly. That's why when she sees part of the experiment, kind of like the behind the scenes, and she sees that Gretchen is also drugging these women, they're putting them in harm's way, they don't know where they're gonna be waking up, they do not have any idea or any agency as to what to do next. She feels like a kindred spirit. She's like, I've been through something very similar to this. And I think that that's a turning point for someone like me, the viewer in the story, because you realize that even though this can seem kind of cool and this is a very cool experiment and whatnot, we realize that Gretchen is doing the exact same thing that the men in these women's life have done to them. She has lied to them, she has deceived them, she has put them in a situation that they do not want to be. She didn't get their consent for any of this. She's actually lying to their parents as well. And we see that she's very much behaving like the men that she's trying to stop. At the very end of the day, Gretchen, with all her good intentions, is just another product of a male-dominated society. She is part of the patriarchy, just like we all are. We all participate in it in different ways. If you guys want to watch it, it's on Amazon Prime. The whole season is there. And I really encourage you guys to watch it and see what you guys think about it, what you guys think of this concept of having an all-woman society, especially women that have gone through the patriarchy and are trying to rebuild a society in this new place. And what did you think of like Gretchen's experiment and the ethics behind it? Of course, we've seen these topics mentioned in other shows and we've seen it played out in different ways. And if you like shows like this, I would really recommend something like Orphan Black. I really enjoy that show, and it has very similar concepts and also experimentation with women that is very similar to the one that we're watching here. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Follow me on Instagram for more content, and watch my Amazon favorite watch list show, because if you guys like this one, I bet there's a few other ones that you guys may like as well.